All right, in this video, we're going to take a look at what's going on today. We're going to answer some questions whether or not this is a Trump pump, this is stimulus driven. At the end of the day, we're going to be following what's happening with price and price alone. That's what's kept us on the right side of the trade. That's what's going to give us some take profit levels we're going to be looking at in this video on the S&P 500. Also on the Nasdaq. We're also going to look at the Dow here. We're going to take a look at the dollar, the DXY over here. You could see it's closing right now below this important support level. You could see already the retest happening in process. We'll look at what's next for the DXY. We're going to look at gold over here, getting ready perhaps for a breakout over here to the upside. You could see silver trying to break above the important resistance at 2450. And we'll also check in on Bitcoin, which is really just consolidating, getting ready for its big move. We're going to see whether or not that's going to be to the upside or downside, or whether we have any type of clue. We're going to do all that together right now. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. We're going to start here with the S&P 500. We're going to start off, if you remember, on Friday's live stream in the morning, we talked about the entry right over there. What's happening now? Now, we also spoke about an entry a couple of days before right over here. Either one of those two entries should still have open positions. We have not taken out where our stop loss is, where our tight stop loss would be. Now, we did talk about the possibility that we revisit over here at 3276 support. And we said if we did revisit that 3276 support, that would still be bullish. When I say bullish, I mean we've just broken out of this descending wedge pattern, came up for a retest once. You see this trend line over here. Both times it's that trend line that is held over there. You could see one touch and then two touch. This was on some really bad news over here as the President of the United States had contacted COVID-19. And now you see over here, we've resumed off over here. We resumed off of this trend line support over here. We traded above the 33.39. And now today, most importantly, we're closing above this trend line resistance over here. Very, very bullish. Now that we're closing above the resistance, is this when you move your stop loss to break even? Right? Is this when you move your stop loss to break even? And what are we targeting? What are we targeting over here? And should you take profit, the next resistance is coming over here. I'll make this trend line over here a little bit thicker, and then I'll show you where horizontal resistance is. This is what we're now targeting as resistance. You could see that's coming in the area right around 34.62. If you follow the mouse over, you'll see the little bit of resistance and support over there. Is that where you're looking to take profit? Absolutely not. You're seeing to watch how price reacts into that resistance. If it's rejected, of course you're looking to take profit. By the way, from the entry point over there, what is that? That's about a 3.3% gain. What's the average yearly gain on the S&P? Now, and that's including this 12-year going on 13-year bull market that we've been in. What is the average gain overall? It's about 7-8%. Right? This is one trade, 3.3%. Do you take profit there? Now, listen, you have to watch how price reacts on that level. I say that because we have the potential, and whether or not this is a Trump pump or this is a stimulus, this is a reaction to the possible coming stimulus, I don't know. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We're following what we've always done, which always has kept us on the right side of the market. It's not giving and placing our own opinions and narratives on the market, but following what price is doing at important levels and reacting accordingly. We're going to watch what happens over here. If stimulus winds up being passed, and I don't even care to place odds on that. It doesn't even matter. But it is possible that if we get a nice possible package, if we get some type of stimulus passed and time is running out, that we would not be targeting up here, that we would be targeting higher. So watch how price reacts. Don't look to just simply take profit into the resistance over here, coming in around 34.62. But watch how price reacts. We'll navigate it together. What's going on the Nasdaq? Let's take a look over there, because on the Nasdaq, right, we were also this morning on the live stream, not Friday morning, this morning, looking at an entry right over there. You could see a couple of bullish things have transpired. Number one, we're above that resistance over here of that channel. Once again, we've held this support over here, right? What are we targeting? I want you to focus in on over here on this level over here. It's coming in. I'm going to make this a little bit darker for you. That way tomorrow morning you have this. Is this what we're targeting over here? Follow my mouse over to the left. You can see the resistance and support. Very, very similar structure to the S&P. That would be about a 4% gain off of entry over there. Let's check that out. Yeah, it's about 4% gain over there. That looks like the place that initially we're targeting, but again, we're going to watch what happens. Now I've talked about over here that I felt like a lot of people, this is, by the way, on the Nasdaq 100, this is non-commercial. This is non-professional traders, net speculative short positions, and they were at a record going into last week, a record high over there, beating the 2006 over here. And you could see that about 40% of them have covered since. And you could see the bounce that we're getting here in the Nasdaq. Now, we still have a lot of people short on the Nasdaq. And by the way, they covered really quick. I like that. I really like how, let's call it the retail trader, has been very, very on top of the market this whole year. The education there, the know-how, the skill set is drastically improving. Who you're going to call the smart money today? I don't know. I kind of lean more towards the retail trader than I do towards the professional, who we know was caught off on the wrong side of the market after the Fed stimulus came in March, until we started basically making new highs on the Nasdaq. They covered really quick, nice trading, but the point is that they still have a lot to cover just to get to even over here. Nevertheless, start taking longs. That's a lot of momentum here we got possibly that could really launch this. So that we're, again, the game plan, now that we got some people into some really good trades, is to watch how price reacts in this area. If we get up there, it's not necessarily take profit. The risk to reward going into that area, by the way, is absolutely phenomenal. It's a fantastic trade. That's why you spend your time setting up the trade. That's why those that are taking trades every day, or multiple trades every day, you're getting whipsawed around, and you're not even trading with a strategy. The core of your strategy needs to be strong analysis. You need to really, really have the mindset of a predator who stalks their prey and then attacks at the right time. We'll manage this now as we get towards it. Let me move over. I'm going to skip the Dow. I'll look over it briefly with you. I'm going to skip the Dow over here. Is this strong resistance we're into? It is resistance. Follow my mouse over here. You could see over here, here's where we came into resistance. Here's support, and then but it's not a strong level. It's not a strong level at all. It looks good. Is this worrisome over here? Do we have that doesn't look like, I'm checking out whether or not that looked like a descending wedge. It doesn't at all to me. This looks like, if anything, just a rising channel over here, right? That looks like a healthy rising channel. I'm not even going to draw that in, but that's what I see. Everything looks healthy. Are you coming into resistance? Yeah, but it's not such a strong level over here. I'm not worried about that at all. Dow looks healthy. Let's talk about the dollar. Let's talk about the dollar. We were talking about over here, and let me flip this right now. This 93.55 support has turned and has now been confirmed break over here. The reason I say that, because it's the daily you look at over here, and you can see on the daily time frame we closed below that level. That's flipping it now into resistance. Now we still need a retest and a resumption off of it. You could see that we've already had the retest. You could see over here prices already came back and tested that level. A resumption off that will be price starting to make lower lows, and that will be a resumption back down. If that occurs, extend this channel over here. This was all resistance going on 2 months. Once it broke right here, it then has since been support. Extend that down. That's the level that I'm targeting here if we resume out of this to the downside. Break below this support, and then we're targeting yearly lows. Is that all possible? Look, I mean, whether or not, it is a big question, whether or not we get stimulus anytime soon or not. Is the market trading off of that? It definitely appears to be so. Nevertheless, again, we're following what's happening technically. That is now considered, in my view, a false breakout to the upside. Now, one other thing, you always have to watch your back. That's what we do together, right? We're always watching our levels, watching our back. Now, is it possible that on the retest here, we're able to trade back above tomorrow or the following day or sometime soon, 93.55, 100%? If that occurs, right, if we're kind of back in no man's land until we're able to clear above 94, clearing above 94 would set the tone back here bullish on the DXY. Right now, look, we closed below an important support level. This is now a false breakout, and we're looking for the retest and resumption to confirm that. That's why we always wait for the retest and the resumption, because breakouts and breakdowns are very low probability trades. You have to wait for that confirmation, which then makes it a high probability trade. Let's see what's going on here with gold, right? I talked about 1904 being an important level. I talked about when we broke it, that watch out what happens on this trend line on the retest. We came back down, retested it successfully, and are now trading back above the 1904 support. That was a bullish signal for me. Now that's a little preemptive. What do I mean by preemptive? I mean by preemptive the fact that for this really to be technical bullish over here, we have to break above this trend line over here. That's coming in. You can see that we peeked into it today. That's coming in right now about above 1925. A break above that trend line, that sets off a very bullish move here on gold. You can see gold's been leading the way. When I talk about leading the way, I'm talking about against silver and against Bitcoin. Once again, we see gold doing the hard work first. Technically, it's in the best shape right now. I'm going to look at silver in a second with you, right? And there's not much else to say except, again, you have a lot of traders here caught on the wrong side of the trade, which is what? It's fuel that could really send this. Is it possible we break back down? Listen, it remains the same over here. As long as now we're above, not 1904. 1904 set the long trade in motion. Above 1880, right? This is definitely bullish, not looking at the short side at all. And when I say looking at the short side, I just mean that we're getting neutral, because no one should be looking right now, especially with the high risk event we have coming in November with the presidential election. And when I say high risk, meaning what happens if we have any type of issue about the transfer of power, gold is going to go ballistic, in my opinion, right? Either which way, whether that happens or whether we're looking at more stimulus. And by the way, this is going to be the market story from now and going forward. It's going to be market stimulus and the amount of et cetera. That's going to be driving the market, not right now, but also in 2021, also in 2022. It's going to be a long time. It'll probably be never again that the market doesn't need to run off stimulus. What happened back in March was an absolute game changer. The Fed's balance sheet right now is increasing by $1.4 trillion a year. The question is, does that increase even further? Right? And or it might be a while before that needs to happen, but either which way, the trajectory is set. All right. So that's why when I talk about precious metals being in a bull market fundamentally, that's what I'm talking about. Over here on silver, we can see the 2450 has not yet broken. Right over here, I talk about gold leading the way. Gold looks a little bit technically better. Silver will play catch up. If gold is able to break out over here, watch, silver will follow. And again, that's when silver will make bigger moves to the upside, just as it did on the downside. Silver's more volatile, made bigger moves to the downside. Keep it really simple right now. Everyone should be tracking and involved with gold right now. Break above 2450, most likely we come into this trend line, which will act first as resistance. But then if we're able to come back and retest that breakout and resume off, that will be the aggressive entry on silver. The better entry, the high probability entry, will be the break above this trend line over here, right? And above the 26 resistance over there. That will be the high probability safe entry on silver, then targeting the yearly high. What about Bitcoin? Let's stop in and take a look over here at Bitcoin. And we can see that Bitcoin is what? Consolidating. What do I mean by that? Look over here. We got lower highs, right? And over here we have higher lows. It's very easy to see what's happening over here. That's what's happening. And then you also have this over here. Follow this trend line over here. That's what Bitcoin needs to break out above in order for this next leg to occur. What does the next leg look like on Bitcoin? right? That would be sending us towards over here, taking out the August over here, the August highs over here. That's where I lean towards what happens next on Bitcoin, right? At the same time, we have to always be aware of what? Our risk. That's what traders do. Traders are always aware of their risk, the overall risk to reward on the trade, and they're always watching their back. Over here, break below this trend line over here. That's what would be worrisome for Bitcoin. A break below that, I believe, will close the CME gap that's coming in at 96. You can see it's getting closer and closer to this trend line over here. Let me step back so you can see what that trend line looks like, by the way. This is the prime trend line on Bitcoin. A break below this trend line over here should send us to then close the CME gap. I believe we spike. I don't believe we trade below this trend line over here. It is possible. Again, we're looking for always a minimum of a 30% pullback on Bitcoin during this bull market. A pullback into this support I have over here at 8,800 will only be a 30% pullback. Now, is that pullback limited to 30%? Just to reinforce in your mind, it is not. We had 6 or 7 30% pullbacks in the last bull market phase. One of those pullbacks had a 40% drawdown. A lot of people, a lot of traders, let me come over to here, during this move over here, let me highlight it for you. During this drop over here, which was nothing more than a 20% pullback, a lot of traders, it was too much for them. If that's the case, you have to lighten up your position on Bitcoin, and you also have to spend some more time doing research. There's no way you're going to be able to ride the bull if you don't understand. If you can't take a 20% pullback, how are you going to fight through a 40% pullback, right? Either lighten up your position or just get more, do some more research. By the way, the playlist on this channel, the Bitcoin playlist, is an excellent place for you to do some of that research, which explains the full-year cycle very well. I'm not going to get into right now whether or not we're experiencing the full-year cycle or the lengthening cycle theory. I do not lean whatsoever towards the lengthening cycle theory. If it is proven correct, right, at that point, we'll be aware of it. I am looking and continue to look. We're in October. I said by the end of 2018, by December of 2018, I'm looking for 18,000 Bitcoin. That still stands firm. That stands firm. That's what I am looking for. And let's see, right? That's just a few months away. Let's see how my analysis stands up to the test of time. That's coming up soon. All right, everyone. That's a great look at the markets. I'm so glad to be back with you, back in the office, working with my setup over here, which gives me a really clear look, able to go ahead and share it with you as well. If you enjoyed this video and you're still here, please help support the channel, smash that like button, and also share your thoughts. I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Have a great day, everyone.